Starting with the letter A, the reading of those 2,977 names at the outset of this 20th anniversary ceremony at Ground Zero. We just heard from the father of one of the flight attendants that in that first plane that hit. We heard the moment of silence. We're in the company of Carol Tosone, professor of social work at New York University. Thank you for joining us on this day. We've been talking in the build-up to that 8:46 a.m. moment of silence about the lingering physical trauma, what with so many people who've since developed respiratory ailments and the like. There's also the mental stress and the mental trauma that continues. You know, Carol, there's an Irish pub down the block here, and we were speaking with some of the first responders, and this is a moment where they come together, and part of the therapy is having a drink together. What is the therapy on a 9/11?
I think you'll see that for a lot of the firefighters and the police officers. And what it is, I saw this also in my research with the Troubles. It's kind of like they feel that their mates, if you will, can understand. No one can understand in the way they can. And rather than a formal therapy, it's more getting together informally and have a shared understanding of what their experience is, that a mental health professional sitting in a room with them couldn't have that same understanding. So it's a bond that they share, that they deeply respect and appreciate with one another.
Huge trauma that, some talk about the nightmares that they got for years afterwards.
Right. Absolutely. Many of them, I developed videos for the 9/11 responders with Project Liberty. It was reaching out to all of the people who were impacted in New York. And it's still an issue to this day. And the anniversary certainly brings up reactions for everybody, including myself, who was with a patient when the plane flew over the building. So
you were where?
I was nearby in the village when the plane flew over the building.
So about, just for our viewers, about 30 blocks north of here?
About.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for everyone. And there have been huge strides in 20 years. We were speaking with reporters yesterday who were with the firefighters and saying to us how they've learned to open up more than they used to.
Mm-hmm. I think out of necessity, I think also a growing appreciation for what mental health practice can offer. I think increasingly people have. Also, what's been important is a lot of the use of peer counselors, both for the general public as well as for firefighters and other first responders, so that it's the idea that they've been through the crisis, they know what the experience is like, and people can relate better in that way. So I think also mental health has learned to become more flexible in responding to their needs. So I think it's been a mutual process in these 20 years.
Yeah, shared trauma for first responders, shared trauma as well for the public at large. Before I ask you about that, let's listen to some of those survivors and some of those people who were deeply affected by what happened on the day.
It never goes away for those of us that were there that day, survived that day. It's something that lives with you every single day, but what it does is also motivates me to live a better life. You know, September 11th did not destroy us in the way the terrorists wanted us to be destroyed.
On that day, 2,749 people died at the Trade Center, 176 from my company, and 19 from my floor. The first 14 months, if you ask me how I was fine. I was alive, I was fine. I just didn't realize how it affected me. You know, I was functioning, but it hadn't really hit home until 14 months later.
Some days you have vivid memories of the day, and most of them are sad memories. But some of them are positive. You know, you recognize what heroism was on display for all to see that day, and it was real. You know, that there was tremendous trepidation and fear going into our operations that day, but we did it.